So the question has come up from various new players about building the power of their city, and surprisingly, it came from cities I would not have expected it to come from. They are in a kingdom that is at peace, and they don't have to worry about being attacked, that kind of thing. Usually, people are concerned about raising their power quickly when they're in a nascent, newborn kingdom where, well, let's just say with the power of jumping, some people grow so fast, so quickly, they develop their little bully antics and gangs and all of that, and so cities need to look more powerful just to survive. Well, what I would like to say to anyone who wants to know how to build their city, please think in terms of what is your motivation for building your power. Because there's various reasons to want to build your power, but there may not be a need to. I'm going to kind of do a comparison of two of my cities, but first I just want to do a general synopsis with this one city. I'm not going to compare this with the other because it's my primary, and I'll look at a third and a fourth city that I made, not my second. It's not as comparable. I've made farming cities, but they end up not being farming cities yet. I haven't found a farming city yet. I haven't been able to create a farming city yet. Everyone becomes a diplomatic city. So you can look at your power and determine, you can see where your power comes from. It comes from your buildings. It comes from the technology you've developed for your city and for your military. It comes from the number of troops and the level of troops. And it comes from your commanders. Now, the reason I bring this up is in this city is because I just want to show you my Belisarius. Belisarius was my very first commander. So we'll touch on commanders first for raising your power level. So here's my Belisarius. He is maxed out on skills. I can't do anything more with his skills. He's got that shiny little bubbly look of on his epic avatar. But his commander power is 70,800. And where does he get his power from? His base power is 600. So Belisarius in any city is going to be 600 base. His commander level, which I have him at 51, and I can take him all the way up to 60, just like with every commander. So that gives him 13,000. His commander skills are maxed out. I can't raise that anymore, but they're at 37.5. His commander talents, which I've applied down here, add to his level by 19,500. And then because they give us a free equipment when you get to the blacksmith, he's got a little glove equipment that everyone gets for their practice run on learning about blacksmithing. So that added another 100. So I can continue to raise his power by raising his level, building his talent tree, and I built him mostly as a peacekeeper to start because he was my first, and anyone who follows my videos knows that I emphasize peacekeeping. But I also developed him in mobility and cavalry as when I took on more of a role of leadership and we were facing more attacks on structures and even cities. We had a lot of cities attacked, so garrisoning and all that and attacks in the field, that's where my kill points come from, being attacked. I don't have a huge number, but my kill points are from response to being attacked in counterattack. I don't initiate attacks, but I do get attacked, so of course my kill points from being attacked from other players' troops while garrisoning or out in the field, even gathering, when troops attack you for gathering. They don't get any of your supplies, they just get kill points. I'm sorry, you'll hear that a lot in my videos, how against I am to the killing of gatherers. To me, that's like killing civilians. Yes, they're troops that are being used, but they're doing an innocent activity. And yes, they can counterattack, but it's not about player versus player on an even field. Having military commanders attack gathering commanders, to me, is just beyond tacky. Of course, someone pointed out there is a reason to get rid of the resource supply of your enemy, and I agree with that. But it's used in what they call a killing event, which is really an enemy elimination event, which turns everyone into enemies. So, enough on that. So we've talked a little bit here about commanders. I'm going to take you over to the two cities one at a time because they're on different accounts, but they're similar level and they were made at similar times. So this one, I think this was my third city, but it might have been my fourth city. We'll see when we look at the VIP. They were both made within just 2 days of each other, but in different kingdoms, because I wanted to set up a city in a kingdom v. kingdom, a kingdom that was in battles already, kingdom versus kingdom, just because I wanted to start learning how that all works so I could start teaching people about it. So this one is still in the same kingdom of the city I just introduced you to. And if I look at the VIP, I made this 47 days ago, so this one was my third city. It was meant to be my second farming city, but of course, unfortunately, it's still not a farming city. But it is at, if we zoom out, it is at a level 17. And the power is 2.2 million, 2,230,000. And the one I'm going to show you is at a level 18 and a little bit higher, but not much. And we'll look at the comparisons as to why they're slightly different. So this one, if we look at the power, building power 649, technology 405,000, 486,000, troops 488, and commander 385. This one also has a Belisarius, so you can see the difference in my commanders, and he also is, I don't think he's the primary. I think Pelagius was the primary, but I like to develop my peacekeepers, as anyone knows. I want to have as many strong peacekeeping commanders as I have being able to take troops out, or troop queues. And look at this, I can actually raise this Pelagius. He's currently at 24,000. So if I ramp up his stars, do it real quick. Let's see if this will get, nope, not quite to 4 stars. Let's see if this will get him up there. Not quite. Let's see, will this do it? You'll notice it's not exactly the factor they say. See, it says 9.23, but it sometimes doubles and triples and even quadruples or quintuples. So this is getting him up to the 4 stars. So his star level is going to increase his commander power. So now he is at, well, actually I guess it doesn't. He's still at 26,000. Star level isn't one of those. So I would have to up his levels or his talents, or when he gets skills, or I could apply some more skills. I could apply some of these. I haven't been really doing this a lot because I want to change the focus of my cities. So I want these available for when I can start training in other areas such as conquering attack, defense, and battle readiness. I want to create a little military academy, and so I'm hoping the 2 cities that are similar in size will be used for training in that area. So I'm not developing some of the talents of some of mine. See, like Ethel hasn't had hers developed, so she's at her real low power of 9,400. See, she's got commander skills, she's got commander level of 14, but no commander talent because I haven't applied them yet. Because I'm not sure, I don't want to use her as a peacekeeper. I'm going to try her out with some other things to play around with her talent tree. Same thing with KM. I haven't applied his talents, so he's not showing any commander talent there. But yet I'm still training up his XP. And as many of you know, when I emphasize in my videos is sending them out with peacekeepers as secondaries just to build up XP. That is a good way of building up the XP of your commanders. You also do, of course, get tokens for events and in the caves and in the tribal villages and all things like that. And you can even buy them in the VIP store or the Alliance store. But I am a big fan of send out your peacekeeping with secondaries, and they will train up all of your commanders. And like I focus sometimes on the gatherers. Whoops, that's not a gatherer. Sometimes I focus on the gatherers, sometimes I focus on the others, and you notice with sending them out with Belisarius, there's an additional XP of 31.5% on top of the standard you would get for killing that level of barbs. So I'm a big fan of using barbarian hunting for raising the XP of your commanders. So troops, it's about the number of troops you have, and one of these cities has a lot more troops than the other. I am a real big fan of training your troops in order to have your full queue when you're sending out your gatherers. And so I train up, and I've mentioned this before, level 1 siege units a lot. So they don't give as much power as, say, a level 2 or a level 3, but I can train them so much faster that I have a lot more of them. And then whenever I raise the level of all of my others from 2 to 3 or 1 to 2 or 1 to 3, that raises my power as well as the number of troops, and I'm constantly training troops. So one of these has a lot more troops than the other. So if you decide to pause and do a comparison, you'll see that. So the other area is technology, and I always try to stay on top of technology. Eventually, technology is faster than building the academy upgrades. So sorry, I'm not even finding my academy, because I should, if I built the same city type each time, I would always know which one is my academy, right? So each of these have their certain level of power added to them, and the higher you go, the higher the power up. So depending on where you are at, you will get more power from your technology too. But again, it's all relative to balance. You need to know what you want to do with your city. You want to know why you want to do it. In the beginning, a lot of people just say, push up the level of your city. Go city hall wall, city hall wall, city hall tavern wall, city hall quarry wall, city hall hospital, whatever it is to get your city hall up, 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 and up. The city hall does raise a lot of power. Sorry, this one's in construction, so I can't show you the difference in ramp up. But others do as well. The wall adds a lot more power than most. So you can see this wall will add, next wall upgrade will add almost 33,000 in power. Watchtower, not as much, but I think Watchtower is by far the most important for protecting your city. A lot of people don't even know to upgrade their watchtower. It's one of the reasons too why I emphasize hunting barbarians to get those arrows. And then like hospitals, different level, these aren't very high, from level 10 to level 11. That's my weakest one. That's my strongest. 16 to 17, it's 12,000. So it's not a ratio, it's like an exponential growth each time. Farms, lumber yards, they don't raise them that much, but the gold mines do, because they take so much more resources, and they have it's more value. The gold, when you use it, it's so expensive, it's harder to mine and all of that. Everything has its value in here. Storehouse raises pretty good value in your power. And of course you want your storehouse to be high in order to be able to protect your materials or your resources. But if you're a farming alliance, you might want to have it so that you have a slightly smaller storehouse, so you have more to send to your main city. Unfortunately, I'm sorry, a farming city. I'm not a farming city yet, but eventually, or a battle city. I'm hoping these will become battle cities for training. So technology, building, troops numbers, troops levels, and your commanders. So you decide what is more important. Personally, I like balance with my buildings for the most part. I don't mind sitting at a level for a long time. I did rush in the other one to get my building up to level 16, and then I sat with it because I wanted to be able to participate in the Ark of Osiris with my friends in that account, because they were experienced at it and I was not, and I knew my main alliance was going to be doing it for the first time. So I was thinking, well, if I do it with them before I do it with my main alliance, I'll know what I'm doing, hopefully. Well, it didn't happen that way because I didn't quite get to 16 in time. In this city that we're about to enter into, well, not this one. This is one of my baby cities. He's in the same account, but not the same city. So I wasn't able to get it up to 16 in time, so I ended up doing Ark of Osiris with my alliance for the first Ark of Osiris event. And boy, was that interesting, because I messed up big time and got in really late. But we we stomped on them. They gave up, which saddened me because I don't like that they do it, that they gave up. But we had fun. I think that's my favorite side gig for these computer generated simulations. I don't learn much from them, so I just do them for the rewards, except for Ark. I'm looking forward to doing Ark every 2 weeks. So this is the one that's similar. If we look at the VIP, I made it just 2 days after the last one. Its power is higher, but its power is from different things. It is a level 18, so its building power is slightly higher when you think in terms of the city hall and the wall, but it's not that much higher. Sorry, I'm clicking on the wrong spot. It's not that much higher in building power than the other. The other one was less than 700, but it's not that much higher. Well, actually it is, because this one has a lot lower troops value. The troops on the other one I think was around 780. This one has slightly higher tech, and I'm not sure how it rated with the commanders in comparison. But again, this one also has a Belisarius, but he's much lower than the one in the last one. The last one was in the 40s. I got this one much later. I believe, just training him as a peacekeeper right now. No, I'm doing it pretty much around everything, because like I mentioned, I wanted to try out new things with them, and I don't know if I want to purchase a lot of talent resets. This one has just, one unassigned, but I just have started receiving some others that I'm going to probably stop assigning their talents for a bit too. I have a lot more XP that I can apply. I hold on to a lot of my XP until I want to figure out what to do with the commander, because I'm not in a hurry like a lot of cities to dominate or be the biggest bad whatever, around. Even my biggest city, I have a lot of XP. And then like one of my brand new cities, my lion and tiger cities that I do videos with, I did a video about quickly putting together a garrison commander, because I hadn't expected to have to protect my city so soon into a new kingdom. So sometimes there's something you want to build up right away. I also did that with the Richard I in another one. I was holding on to his talents. Every time we have to apply the 5 tomes for our dailies, I was applying them to him. I was using the large tomes because he's a legendary that's not as common as the others, and I keep seeing videos where they use him a lot, and I'm like, I'm going to build him up, but I don't know how I'm going to apply his talents yet, because I'm not sure if these cities are going to become battle oriented just for training. But I have a feeling I'm going to have to do some reallocation of talents, and I'm okay with that. The Seondeok, I just got her for the first time after about, almost 50 commanders in my first city, and now she's one of the early ones I'm getting into all my cities. So in a few of them, I'm trying out different talent trees with her. Her and Cleopatra are considered gathering, even though they're legendaries. Don't know why the women are gatherers. Anyhow, with her, I thought, well, what if I send out or assign a lot of attack to her, so that if I send her out as a gatherer, if someone scouts her as a gatherer, they might think they're not getting into any kind of trouble, and we'll see if she kicks butt when they attack gatherers during the enemy elimination event. So I've started doing that with my Seondeoks, because by the time I get her, I have so many gatherers, I don't need her as a gatherer, and I just want to start playing around with different things to do apples to apples comparisons for training videos. So she's not real powerful yet, but I have a feeling I'm going to start assigning more and more XP to her as I have to, but she definitely goes out as a second on peacekeeping missions quite frequently. She and Sarka both. Sarka also sometimes, I don't just make her a gatherer, sometimes I build up the skill side just to play around with where that is. I haven't really looked at these talent trees up here, leadership, integration, and all those as much to play around with. Um, that'll come in the future. I got to do a little bit by little bit. I focused on what was obvious, which was in the beginning gathering, peacekeeping, and garrison. And then now I'm starting to learn more about attack, conquering, when I want to clear out the inactive cities. I want to clear out their excess resources before they tempt people in to attack cities in our alliance and things like that. So I'm learning other things to help teach others. So this is the parameters you want to look at when you're deciding how to build up your power. You can do it through the building power, just look at what buildings add. You can do it through your tech. Troops is the one I emphasize a lot. I use a lot of speed ups on troops. The more speed ups I use, the more speed ups I tend to get, because you get them at different levels of troop training. Now, mind you, a lot of people will save those up until they get to Kingdom versus Kingdom, because they may have to do a rush job on training up troops if they kill a lot of troops in the battles. Since I don't see that as an issue for me, I'm not going to worry about it. So I wanted them to be ready for a lot of gatherings, so I make sure I have as many troops as I absolutely need for gathering. And since my commanders for gathering keep raising their values because they take them out as secondaries for peacekeeping missions, I am constantly running out of the number of troops I need to gather at the highest nodes and all of that. And then commander powers. So you decide, you figure out the balance for you, you figure out your motivation for you. Everyone's motivation is different. If your motivation is that you want to get into being able to make it to KVK and you want a real strong city, you're going to have to do a balance of all of these. None of these is going to dominate. A lot of people just focus on building. No, you need to focus on all of them. You need strong commanders, you need strong troops, you need strong tech. So one without the other, you're going to have a weak city no matter what the number is. And for me, what bothers me a lot about these alliances and their requirements is some of them say we only want someone of such and such level. So all they're doing is looking at the level of the city, and they're not looking at the talent and skills and intelligence of the player behind the city, which really bothers me. But at the same time, how would they? Because there's so much braggadocio in this game, people saying, and oh, I've done this, and oh, I've done that, and how do you get to know that until you actually start working with them? So I kind of understand why that's the parameter. It's kind of like taking an entrance test to get a job. But to me, it's a very limiting for what is possible in this game. I think too many people put too much measure on the numbers, on the power level, on the building level, on the city level, on the troop level, and the commander, So even though that's part of the war aspect of it, it's not part of the overall development aspect of a kingdom or a community or an alliance or a city. So, and those are the areas that I'm expert in. Well, not kingdoms and not kingdoms and alliances, so to speak, but yes, community development and helping match talents and skills and all of that. In the real world, that's the kind of thing I do. So that's the kind of thing I look at when I'm trying to figure out the balance that works for people. For everyone, it's a different thing. Do what works for you. Do what's based on what is your intention, your motivation. What do you want to do with your city? If you're in a kingdom versus kingdom that's at peace, why are you rushing to power? Do you need to rush to power? That kind of thing. If you're in a brand new one and it's just for survival, I get that. I truly do get that. I did a jumping experiment, and boy, the kingdom I landed in, it's much worse than my kingdom of bullies, which was the first kingdom I was in. So I get trying to look powerful. But a level 18 city is very weak if its watchtower is only level 5. And its garrison commander is a weak garrison commander. It's all about balance. And so figure out what you want to do. My emphasis would be all of them, not leaving any of them behind. Some people just want to build city hall to wall to city hall to wall. I think that's not the strongest of strategies. I would emphasize tech, I would emphasize troops, and I'd emphasize commander power. But as you can see, I I could have a far higher commander power in all of my cities because of the amount of XP I still have to assign. But I will still hold on to it until I figure out what truly is the intention of these cities that are migrating. Because I have 3 cities migrating right now, and in this new kingdom where we migrate, I want the alliance members to decide what they want to do on their individual end. I will not form another alliance where I'm the alliance leader. I'll help them where they can, and then I'm hoping I can talk to enough of the leaders to let me establish a military academy in that kingdom. It's a new concept. It's not like these so-called academies that they designate as sub-alliances. That definition doesn't seem to apply anywhere that I can see. I don't see them training them much. So that's a synopsis of how to build the power of your city. And for now, I'm going to wish you Godspeed and signing out.